When I finally told a doctor that my mother had been lying about my symptoms, my hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the pen. I'm 15 years old. I'm about 5 feet tall and very thin for my age. I live in the United States, and for years my life has revolved around doctors' offices, prescriptions and diagnoses I never fully understood. I take anti-seizure medication, stimulants for ADHD, and for a long time I was also on drugs meant for serious autoimmune diseases. On paper, I am very sick. In reality, I'm not sure I ever was. I did have one seizure when I was 10. It happened on a school trip, in front of dozens of classmates. I ended up in the hospital, and the doctors couldn't find a clear cause. That moment changed everything. My mom had always been overprotective, the kind of parent who rushed me to a clinic for every cough. But after that seizure, something in her shifted. From that point on, she became convinced that I was dangerously ill. She began listing conditions I supposedly had, disorders I had never heard of. She would tell doctors that I fainted, that my heart raced, that my joints swelled, that I was constantly dizzy. Many of those things were either exaggerated or completely untrue. Sometimes she'd say I had a fever and explain that it wasn't showing because I'd taken medicine beforehand. The truth was, she gave me that medicine, even when I felt perfectly fine. Before cardiology appointments, she'd hand me cold medicine and say, "You're sniffling, take this." Later, I learned that those drugs can raise heart rate. Half the time, I wasn't even sick. She also had a way of planting symptoms in my head. "You look spaced out," she'd say. "Your joints are swollen. You don't seem right today." For years, I believed her. She convinced me I felt things I couldn't remember because of seizures. She made me doubt my own body. Now when she says those things, I just sit there thinking, I feel normal. I'm exhausted. I'm tired of blood draws, scans, specialists. I'm tired of swallowing pills that make me angry, nauseous, or hollow. I want to hang out with friends. I want a life that doesn't revolve around being the sick girl. Once, after playing on an inflatable water slide all day, I was covered in bruises. I'd also been taking a lot of ibuprofen for sore joints. I knew exactly where the bruises came from. My mum told the doctor they appeared for no reason. I was tested for leukemia. She told everyone I might have cancer. The test came back normal. I didn't have it. I knew I didn't. But she had already convinced me that normal activity couldn't cause bruises in a healthy person. So I stayed quiet. Years passed. Now I'm terrified that if I speak up, everything will explode. I worry that doctors will never believe me again. That if I do get sick someday, no one will take me seriously. For about 2 years, I've been almost certain she's inventing much of this. Sometimes I still doubt myself. Maybe she's right. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know what's real anymore. I have a cardiology appointment on Thursday. I want this to stop. I want my life back. But I'm afraid that saying anything will ruin my medical care forever. I know I had that seizure at 10. That part was real. A whole cafeteria saw it. But everything that came after feels like it grew into something huge and terrifying. I'm stuck between two fears. That I'm secretly very ill, or that I've been living inside someone else's delusion. And I don't know which one is worse. The worst part is that I don't even fully trust myself anymore. Some of my medical records show abnormal results. I once had a high anti-nuclear antibody level, and that became the foundation for years of appointments with rheumatologists and specialists. From that single number, entire diagnoses grew. Connective tissue disorder, possible autoimmune disease. Words that sounded permanent, heavy, but when I look back, I can't tell which symptoms were truly mine and which were shaped by my mother's voice in my head. She speaks with absolute certainty. When she tells a doctor I'm dizzy, I start wondering if I am dizzy. When she says my joints are swollen, I look down and think maybe they are. She describes sensations so vividly that I begin to feel them. It's like living inside someone else's narrative about your own body. I've tried to push back. I feel fine, I'll say. She smiles tightly. You don't always notice when something's wrong. It makes me feel small, unreliable, like my own perception doesn't count. I also know I'm underweight. I don't eat enough. I'm working on it, but it's hard. Food feels like one of the few things I can control. It's something that's mean. She can't monitor every bite. I don't do it to make myself sick. I just need one corner of my life that belongs to me. I'm scared to bring that up too. I don't know if it's the right time or if it will only complicate everything. I asked online if there was any way to talk to a doctor without my mom in the room. She refuses to let me go alone. She says I need an adult there to explain things properly and to know every part of my treatment plan. Someone suggested something simple and terrifying. Write a note, call the clinic in advance, or if I can't, carry a small piece of paper. Ask to use the bathroom and hand it to any staff member. Just one sentence. Please tell the doctor I need to speak privately. I can't say this in front of my mother. Another reply came from a physician. They said that in the US, if a doctor suspects abuse, they are legally required to report it, that an investigation would begin, that I would not be blamed, that I'm a child doing what my parent tells me to do. They said my mother likely doesn't mean harm, but that what she's doing is harmful, that it could become dangerous, that some of the medications I was taking are only given to people with severe disease because their risks are serious. One pharmacist wrote something that made my stomach drop. The drug I had been on for years can slowly damage the eyes. It can cause permanent vision loss. It's prescribed because, in certain diseases, the risk of blindness is outweighed by the risk of organ failure or death without treatment. I am 15. They told me I deserve to know whether I actually have a condition that justifies that risk. I stared at the screen for a long time. My mom monitors my phone. I can't call clinics without her knowing, so I folded a piece of paper and hid it in my pocket before my appointment. When we arrived, I told the nurse I needed the restroom. I handed her the note. The wait felt endless. When we were finally called in, the doctor's questions were different, sharper. He pointed out contradictions in what my mother said. Then he asked to speak with me alone. My heart pounded so hard I thought I might faint. I told him everything about the medications, the invented symptoms, the way she plants ideas in my head, the bruises, the fear, the confusion. After that, he spoke to my mother privately. I don't know what was said. What I do know is that I was admitted to the hospital. A team of doctors began re-evaluating my diagnoses. There was always someone in my room, a nurse, technician, someone checking in. I'm not sure if it was normal protocol or if it was to make sure nothing happened. Some of my diagnoses were changed. My mother began seeing a therapist. She still insists I'm very sick. She says I've been influenced by documentaries and the internet, but things are different now. I manage my own medications. I keep a journal of what I take and when. I no longer take the drug that could have damaged my eyes. No one yelled at me. No one was angry, even with her. The staff were calm, firm, kind. For the first time, I feel like someone is listening to me. Life hasn't magically become easy. My mom still believes something is deeply wrong with me. She hasn't stopped worrying, and she hasn't stopped insisting that I'm fragile. But now, there are boundaries. She no longer controls my pills. She can't add or remove medications on her own. Everything goes through doctors. Everything is documented. That alone feels like breathing fresh air after being underwater. I still live with her. It's just the two of us. My dad died when I was very young, too young for me to remember him. I don't hate her. I don't see her as a villain. I think she truly believes she's protecting me. But intention doesn't erase harm. I'm still learning to trust my own body. Sometimes I pause and ask myself, is this real? Or is this something I've been taught to feel? It's exhausting. A few weeks after all of this started, something new happened. My knees began getting hot. Not just warm, burning, bright red, swollen looking. It happens randomly, usually in the evening. Sometimes they ache a little. Sometimes they hurt enough that I can't fall asleep. It lasts a couple of hours and then disappears. By morning, everything looks normal again. Only my knees. The rest of my legs are fine. Sometimes it comes with mild stomach pain. Ice helps a little, but it always comes back. I'm 15. I'm 152 meters tall. I weigh 39 kilograms. I take Keppra and Adderall. This time, I didn't exaggerate. I didn't let anyone exaggerate for me. I wrote it down exactly as it happens. For the first time, I'm learning the difference between being sick and being told I'm sick. And that might be the hardest diagnosis of all.